HSBC slashes 35,000 jobs. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian Heise, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd start today by having a look at this article from Reuters regarding HSBC, the investment bank, plans to slash 35,000 jobs and also sell $100 billion in assets. Now, I know there is not going to be any love loss from any of the viewers about a financial industry cutting jobs, but it just shows you the sign of the times. Because, well, one could argue that the retail sector here in Australia is in a recession. Frankly, probably several other industries also are. I'd say apartment construction is one as well. But what about at a global level? The financial industry. If it's in a recession, what do you think? Seems to be. How many of these jobs are going to be cut from Australia? So let's have a look, guys. So it's from Hong Kong, London, and for Reuters. HSBC Holdings plc said on Tuesday it would shed $100 billion in assets, shrink its investment bank, and revamp its US and European businesses in a drastic overhaul that will mean 35,000 jobs are cut over 3 years. $100 billion in assets. I remember when we were reading through the Stocklands report, financial report, and they had cut $500 million, and were planning to cut another $1 billion of their retail centers. Think of this, $100 billion on a global scale, 35,000 jobs. The bank, which has struggled to keep pace with leaner and more focused rivals, is seeking to become more competitive as it grapples with slowing growth in its major markets. The coronavirus epidemic it's not quite a pandemic yet, is it? British's European Union exit and lower central bank interest rates. In the latest in a series of overhauls since the 2008 financial crisis, HSBC said it would merge its private banking and wealth businesses, axe European stock trading, and cut US retail branches as it seeks to remove $4.5 billion in costs. $4.5 billion in costs. So it looks like there may not be an impact. Well, I mean, how significant is the presence of HSBC in Australia? I'll just type it in here. We'll have a look at that. We'll have a look here. So we'll jump here. Headquarters in Sydney. There are a few banks around. There are a few HSBC branches around, but it may not have online, foreign investment, borrowing, credit cards, banking. Where are their branches? Do they have any branches in Australia? Here we go. Frequently asked questions. Find a branch. Locate your nearest HSBC branch. And we'll go. Let's go Brisbane. So we've got one in Brisbane. Let's show some more results. Sunnybank. Well, I'm not surprised we have one in Sunnybank, guys. Southport, Hornsby. So we've got a few branches here. Let's see how many more we can see here in Australia. 11, 13. Was that it? Come on, show us some more. Okay, so it's really Sydney and Brisbane. What about Melbourne? Do the Melbourneites have some? Oh yeah, we've got a few there. So we've got a fair few here. A fair few here, guys. So it looks like it's okay. Yeah, they've got a big presence, bigger one than I realized. It looks like there's definitely a potential impact on the Australian sector, everyone. I mean, do you bank with HSBC? Let us know in the comments, guys. What's your experience with them? What's your experience? So, the totality of this program is that our headcount is likely to go from 235,000 to closer to 200,000 over the next 3 years, Noel Quinn, interim chief executive, told Reuters. The restructuring, one of the largest undertaken by a blue-chip lender for more than a decade, will be partly managed through natural attrition as people leave the bank, he said. The UK-based bank, whose huge Asian operations are headquartered in Hong Kong, said the coronavirus epidemic had significantly impacted staff and customers. In the long run, it could reduce revenue and cause bad loans to rise as supply chains are disrupted, Wynne said. Well, I've got another video where I want to look at just some actual impacts that people are saying on the real-world businesses for these supply chains. Some manufacturers in the States are completely cut off. The virus has killed almost 1,900 people, overwhelmingly in mainland China, and infected more than 70,000, while its economic impact is spreading across the globe. And, I mean, we can see today, gold is up over 1,600. You can see here, silver's up again, over $18 again. Everything else is falling. In the FX, the Aussie dollar's back up slightly, but it was still at 66 cents. HSBC veteran Quinn is auditioning for the permanent role of CEO, which the bank said in August would be announced within 6 to 12 months. In one sense, they are doing the things that were obvious and had been called out by many, so it's good. Hugh Young, managing director at Aberdeen Asset Management Asia, one of HSBC's 20 largest investors. Getting this done will require a fair amount of work. Then we need to see how it settles down. Noel is doing a good job in a very difficult circumstance, he adds. Europe's biggest bank by assets, which makes the bulk of its revenue in Asia, said profit before tax tumbled by a third to 13.35 billion in 2019, far below the average estimate of 20.03 billion from brokers compiled by the bank. This was due to a 7.3 billion in write-offs linked to its global banking and markets and commercial banking business units in Europe. In the US, where the bank has underperformed for years, HSBC said it would close around a third of its 224 branches and target only international and wealthier clients. The lender's shares were down 3.7% at 568 pence at the London market open. There you go. And no buybacks for 2 years. HSBC, which has bought back some $6 billion of its own shares since 2016. Just think about that. Think about, the constant rise in the stock market. How much of that is fueled by buybacks? How much is that fueled by not QE in the US? It's certainly interesting times that we're living in, isn't it? It really is, if you think about it, everything that's going on. I would imagine we're definitely living through a period in history which will be recorded. Perhaps not fondly, but will certainly be recorded. So, they said it would suspend buybacks for 2 years in order to pay for the restructuring, but would maintain its dividend. The bank's return on tangible equity, ROTE, a key profitability measure, is expected to be in the range of 10 to 12% in 2022. HSBC reported a ROTE, return on tangible assets, of 8.4% for last year, down from 8.6% in 2018. HSBC said it planned to invest more than $100 billion in higher returning areas, resulting in broadly flat assets in value terms over the 3 years. It also expects to incur restructuring costs of around $6 billion, the bulk of it in this year and next. While strengthening its investment banking capabilities in Asia and the Middle East, the bank will maintain a global investment banking hub in London, reducing its European footprint for business. The bank will also reduce its sales and research coverage in European cash equities, with a focus on supporting equity capital market transactions, it said, confirming a Reuters report last month regarding pullback from the trading business. Commenting on the impact of the coronavirus, Chief Financial Officer Edwin Stevenson told Reuters the bank expects additional loan loss provisions for the first quarter. So there we have it, guys. 35,000 jobs gone over the next several years from HSBC. a strategic overhaul, pulling out of the European market, pulling out of essentially the retail sector in the US. No mention of the impact on Australia, but I mean, we do have a presence here. Or are we under Asia? Are we close enough to Asia that they'll ramp it up there? We'll have to wait and see. What do you think, guys? Is this a sign of the times when the banks are struggling? I know a lot of people are afraid of bail-in provisions here in Australia with our banks, particularly their exposure to our housing sector. But remember, just watch ABC, read the news. Housing will go up forever, guys. Constant demand. Constant demand. We'll have to see, guys. This coronavirus, it seems like it has the potential to really be a black swan and disrupt a lot of what's going on. We'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us produce more content, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel here on YouTube where you get access to emojis and badges. You can support us on Patreon with a monthly donation. You can use our affiliate links with Amazon or eBay for your consumer purchases, or Independent Reserve or Kucoin for your crypto trading. We also have merch we make on the HeiseSays website, pocket squares handmade right here in Brisbane, and finally PayPal if you want to contribute that way. Thanks to everyone who's helping the channel, allows us to invest in new equipment. Really appreciate it. Take care, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.